You know, when you have a team like this over here, all top order players, if I can call them that, and the book over here is such a beautiful read. And, you know, you, as a cricket fan, if you happen to be a cricket fan, and more particularly Indian cricket fan, there are a lot of things which are very, very, I would say, lip smacking over there. And we can go on and play a test match with this kind of a team, but unfortunately, we only have about 45 minutes to 1 hour. So, like a good team player, lower order batsman, I'll take a quick single, get out of the other end, and allow them to have the strike. So let's start with the book itself, Amrit. Congratulations on this great book. And this has been winning a few awards as well. Congrats on that as well. Let me start with the genesis of it. You said there is no scam, there's no controversy, you're not a celebrity, and writing a column is much easier because it's very transient. The public memory is very short. Yeah. But when you write a book, you're going on record on the shelf forever. A smart cookie can come and actually confront you on that. How has it been once the book has been published?
Well, thank you very much for having me here and for all the kind words you said. And I was a reluctant writer for two reasons. A, as you mentioned, I don't have anything major to reveal, no breaking news, no message to the nation. So I had doubts whether what I have to offer would be of interest. Secondly, as you mentioned, it's a bit scary writing a book. It's a lot of hard work, and it's more permanent. And as you mentioned, that there can be an instance where somebody down the line comes and tells you, what rubbish you've done.
Right.
So I was reluctant because I'm far away from the Indian team, or I'm not really a decision maker.
Right.
But then I realized that I should write the book for two reasons.
Right.
A, I've been privileged to be very close to Indian cricket. I was a fan, but by some accident, I became close to Indian cricket, the BCCI, the IPL and things.
Right.
So I had information which others did not have.
I'm not privy to. Yeah.
Did not have. And secondly, I just realized that because of the explosion of social media, there is so much interest in everything connected with cricket. The fans want to know, the players are themselves putting out information. So I said, considering the information I have and the interest people have in cricket, it'll be okay to write a book.
Right. So an opening comment from the other two gentlemen here. As somebody who's a multifaceted person, a very effervescent personality. I have known JK for quite some time now. He's many rolled into one. Very charismatic, as you can see. And he has been a cricketer. He has been an administrator. He is pretty much, one of the backbones of the veteran cricket in India. He's a model. He's an actor. We can go on describing him. But to start with, JK, you hold a very unique distinction. It's a family affair for you. Technically speaking, you and your son Rohit are the only Malayali father-son combo to play cricket for India. So let's start with that. What does it mean to you? What does cricket mean to you?
Well, cricket has been, I was born in a small town, a village I would call it, Kannur. And the journey with the game has brought me a different life, has taken me everywhere. And whatever I've done in life is through cricket. Basically, Mathur Sahib, I'm proud to be with you and Jayesh. Talking on cricket, I may not be the right person, but having played for good 60 years with Kerala and the country, I have enjoyed every bit of my life. The game is such a game, I always tell people, it's an institution by itself, which is actually what I was. I grew up in Kannur, went to Chennai only because I wanted my son to play cricket, and he did give back my wishes. He didn't play for India, but he played for Denmark for 4 years, ICC World Cup. Well, that's what a father would like to have, the son giving back to the same game. Well, otherwise, whatever fields I have done, whatever achievements I've got, is only due to the game of cricket. You take it in the right spirit. I'm sure Mathur Sahib will agree that this game on those days, in our times, younger days, it was a different game. where we played with love and passion, and there was no money. So the game gives you back so much to learn. I mean, it's an institution by itself, if you really call it, because I never went to school. But I've become a good speaker, or I speak in Malayalam or Tamil or Kannada or whatever. It's all because of cricket. So that's my little take on the game. And here, Jayesh George is here. He's been instrumental for my son also. He's been a coach during my son's initial days in Kerala when he played Ranji. So Jayesh has done wonderful things for Kerala. See, these are good things what we need to see in life, how the game has evolved. Today, Mathur Sahib will agree, we are seeing a different world of cricket. It's wonderful to see its entertainment, as well as we are about the best team in the world. So these kind of things you want to see through a life. 75 years I am now, and I'm enjoying every bit of the game. Even now we are playing cricket today. Jayesh is owning a team, I'm owning a team. They're all playing at the stadium today, and that's called the Kerala Veterans Premier League.
Right.
So it's fantastic to be a part and parcel of the game forever. You don't give up.
Right.
And that's the beauty about this game. You can't give it up.
Right. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank you, Mathur Sahib. Mathur Sahib, I have met you several times. I've seen you.
Yes, sir.
But to be with you is an honor, because you know the insides of everybody from those good old days where cricket, BCCI grew from nowhere till today what they are. I'm sure you will be able to tell you in your book and tell the people how wonderful this journey has been for you.
It's great
Thank
to see
you,
the
sir.
passion, JK. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And it's time to bring in Jayesh very quickly. Jayesh, I probably might have we might have a little more difficult questions, I'm afraid, going forward. But to start with, there was a time in Kerala cricket where the cricketers were thrilled to play at Mohali, just to play. Or we played in Mohali. And one of the former captains told me that an off spinner comes in, they watch for 3 balls. The 4th one, you just dance down the track and hit over the top. Even if you get out, it doesn't matter, because we didn't have much to lose. But Kerala cricket today has come a long way. We may not be quite a Mumbai or a Delhi yet, but being part of parcel of, and been there forever, and you have been a joint secretary of BCCI. How proud are you? And where do you see Kerala cricket going from here? Because we have reached somewhere.
Too many questions. Anyway, I'll just start with, thank you, Mathrubhumi, for making me here with Mathurji and JK Bhai. So JK Bhai means I'm a great admirer of JK Bhai, because I've seen him playing, I've seen him working, and his life is for cricket.
Right.
Mostly he has spent all his life for cricket. So yes, a very good admirer for JK Bhai. And Mathurji, when I was with BCCI and with the State Association, I used to go to BCCI, so I have been seeing him for so many years. And as you rightly said, he has always given me, as an administrator, whenever I meet him, he used to say, your Kerala is doing good. Kerala has come up good. So many encouraging words for Kerala cricket has been shared with me from both of them. So anyway, the question, I'll come back to the question. So Kerala, I think I started my career as an administrator in 2005. So when I was first attending the general body of the Kerala Cricket Association, a couple of weeks back, there was an article in one of the leading magazines. So it was about the Indian cricket. And at that time, in 2005, Kerala was at the bottom. I think out of 36 teams, it was the 34th. Kerala was placed on the 34th in the rankings of BCCI. So now I can, or maybe KST can proudly say we are among the top 10.
Right.
So as you rightly pointed out, we may not be as good as, or maybe as recognized as Mumbai. Or
Let me put it this way, as big as, not good
no,
as is a very subjective
yeah,
thing.
of course, not big as Mumbai, but we have beaten Mumbai in Mumbai. We have beaten Delhi in Delhi. We have beaten Calcutta in Calcutta, Karnataka. So when maybe JK's by his playing days, we were the minnows.
Right.
We just beat Goa.
Right.
We drew with Andhra.
Right.
And we used to get hammered with Hyderabad,
Right.
Karnataka and
Right.
Tamil Nadu.
Right.
Now we are beating them in their soil. So that makes us proud.
Wow.
And I used to tell my boys, to the players, I was a joint secretary of the board. So that doesn't give me a recognition. Once you reach the board, you are sitting with Saurav Ganguly, Jayesh, and maybe most of the other big players of the Indian team. So where Kerala stands, if I was in the 34th position or 33rd position, I may not get that weightage in that team or that BCCI team. So I used to tell my boss, okay, you play for me or for KCA, because when you play, you make us proud. So that is what Kerala is doing now. So we have the last 3-4 years we are qualified every time for the quarterfinals or pre-quarters.
Right.
So that is one part Kerala is doing good now.
Great. Amrit, when I went through the book, there's two things that I predominantly felt about the book. One is envy, because you had an enviable seat on most occasions during the landmark events of Indian cricket. And as we go along with time permits, we'll talk about a couple of them. And second is the fact that you're taking a bit of a risk. It's a real no-holds-barred kind of a book, wherein you have let yourself quite free. And I'm sure that most of those things, or all of those things that you've been a part and parcel of. Let's start with this. You said BCCI is about 3 C's. The first is control, the second is cash, and the third one is cricket. So cricket comes third in your list. Could you please explain?
Well, these are 3 C's which are part of cricket.
Right.
All 3.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with this.
Yes.
They're all integral to the game.
Right.
And from time to time, how important each of these C is varies.
Right.
At the moment, I think cash is the most important.
Right.
It's a fact of life. Everything depends on money, marketing, sponsorship.
Right.
If India is a powerhouse, it's because of money cricket generates.
Right.
We get 39% of the ICC revenue.
Right.
The next best is 6.9 or something.
Right.
So that shows where we are
Right.
in world
Right.
cricket economy.
Right.
Also, most people forget is that the amount of cricket played in India is more than the cricket played in the rest of the world.
Right.
If you look at the under 14, 16, 19, 23, Ranji Trophy, and for women,
Right.
if you put all that together, that's more cricket than everywhere else in the world.
Right.
Australia has 6 first-class teams, England has 18, South Africa has 6, India has 38.
Right.
So we are the biggest player in world cricket,
Yep.
commercially and from the cricket standpoint.
Yes.
But as I said, control, cash, cricket, these are 3 integral parts of the game.
Right.
But the importance of each varies from time to time.
So that tempts me to follow that with another question, and then as a part of it, I'll bring the other 2 gentlemen and take their perspective as well. IPL has changed the game forever. At least the perception and the dependence, the divide between the haves and have-nots. I mean, it's turned around now.
Yeah.
We control the world cricket. It's only fair to say that IPL has played a pivotal role in that. It's all glamour, it's all money, but behind that there is confusion, there is turbulence, there is friction, and cash is the utmost important thing. Do cricketers get a little overly swayed towards money, and does that compromise the sanctity of the game, the gentleman's game that cricket is? What's your take on that?
Well, I think that's a very interesting question. And I'll take it in 2 parts. The IPL is game-changing for cricket and world cricket. Not only India cricket, but everybody else has his own IPL kind of a league now. So it's completely changed cricket as it's played for 2 reasons. One, it is controlled largely by the market. The market determines whether Gautam will get 9 crores or where Rizvi in UP will get 8 crores or where Avish Khan will get 10, Prasidh Krishna will get 10, some will get 20, whatever. So market is a new thing in cricket. Secondly, the new thing is the presence of the owner.
Right.
It's there is an owner who's an important part of the IPL. So it's not just the BCCI anymore. There is a new person there controlling cricket, the owner. So cricket as we've known it has changed. Now the issue whether is it good or bad is a related one. It's good in many ways.
Right.
The players make money. The players get a platform to showcase their skills. it's a ladder to go up, to get noticed and to fast track your growth.
Right.
But there is a downside too,
Yep.
because we've seen recently, and I'm sure this Jayesh sir will also have a view on that in cricket now, especially with younger players, their only ambition is to play IPL.
Right.
Test, regular cricket,
Right.
Ranji Trophy, etc., is not so important.
Right.
So there is a disinterest in cricket, as we've known, the red ball cricket.
Right.
There's also disrespect that nothing else is important except
Right.
the IPL. So it's good and bad.
Yeah.
But if you weigh everything and measure it,
Yeah.
I think ultimately the good is more than the not so
Right,
good.
right. We have the examples, but unfortunately we can't take them because that involves names. And I'm sure it's very well balanced response from Amrit. But JK, I'm sure that your take will be slightly different because I have picked up conversations with him on this on various occasions. The last time we met in November, for a league, he said the same thing. So your take on that, JK?
Well, I think there could be plus or minus points. The game has evolved so much. Entertainment has become very important.
Right.
That's where people are start watching cricket.
Right.
I think everybody is knowledgeable about cricket in the country.
Right.
Every kid knows about cricket.
Right.
Everybody aspires to play because the money is involved, careers are involved, and which is good one way because there is a career for everybody.
Right, right.
Is as good as today playing Ranji Trophy for Kerala, is as good as or bigger than a salary an IT person earns in the year.
Right.
So I think in one way it's fantastic, it's very good. Cricketers must earn money. They are professionals now.
Right.
They're no longer amateur players like we used to be.
Right.
They're all professionals and they have to give back to the game the professional way. Well, there could be the other side of the story is it can stray them, it could spoil them. Some of them can be carried away.
Right.
And that's why you hear about match fixing and other stories.
Right.
There's things which happen in life for anybody, in business or anything. You go the wrong way, then you pay for it.
Right.
Well, so there is punishment. So it is protected in some way. I think cricket has come a long way, and BCCI is in a good stage. They know with all the franchises who are administrators, great people like Mukesh Ambani or all these big people are involved, I don't think it can spoil the game.
Right.
I'm sure they will find ways to keep track of everything.
Right.
And make sure that the players are contracted, they're professionals, and like in football, they're 24/7 with the game, and that's what we are enjoying, watching them.
Right.
And we have got stars from our own state,
Right.
Sanju Samson, Sri Shant, or Tino Johanan.
Right.
They have made a mark.
Right. Right.
When you said earlier, and Jayesh also mentioned we are underdogs, I had come out with a book then, which Mathrubhumi released, called Underdogs to Champions.
Okay.
Well, that's the way today cricket has gone also. India would have been underdogs in 1932.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
today we are the world leaders in cricket,
Right.
which we are giving back to the English people or the Australians or South Africa, which is very nice to see, and I think that's what people want to see, that we are leading in front, not only in cricket, in every part of the life in the world today, whether it's business, commercial, we are a very strong nation.
Right.
That's what we want, and that's what public wants, and that's what we pray for. Thank you.
Jayesh, you have been at the helm, not just in KCA, at the BCCI as well. The pain of transition is felt on the players. It's not fair to criticize them entirely, but it's even more trickier situation for the administrators, right? There's always a perennial, stretch that you feel between the sanctity of the game and the cash that it offers. So how challenging is it for you as an administrator to keep your players in a good space over there?
I think, as JK Bhai rightly pointed out, BCCI had certain protocols and they have clear agreement. We have the anti-corruption policy, anti-liaison officers. When the match is happening, there is a lot of system that are followed. and we educate the younger players right from the under 19 or the under 16 when they play the state. We educate them, even their personality development. All these things are taken care of by BCCA now, very in a correct way, so that players don't get carried away or they may not lose their the focus on the way. One or two cases may be there, but mostly you might have a lot of things about our Jaiswal. He's the latest example of how from an ordinary person, how he becomes successful in life through cricket. And whatever the best when I was administrator, I used to mingle with, I was handling the under 19 and the women team. So there was a lot of educative programs that happens in the younger players, even how to speak in front of public. So all these are taken care of by BCCA. So as an administrator, and as you rightly told, I think Indian cricket, I think we conduct around 2,000 matches, domestic matches. From the under 14 to the women and the Ranji Trophy, around that type of matches. That is the amount of match we play.
Right.
So and apart from that, we have tournaments, and even in Kerala, we have around 3-4 tournaments which goes live.
Right.
The live streaming. We play the matches in Alapi. Right. So there are incidents. These things happen. Some of the bookies or maybe somebody means approaching the players, and they automatically they report back to the managers, and we have anti-corruption officers there looking after all those things. We keep the mobiles apart once the match is happening.
When the commentators their mobiles are confiscated as well.
Yeah, lot of so BCCA takes care of all this very well. We have a system in place, as we know about the cash now BCCA is handling. We all have seen that 1983 movie there where we have no money. So I think the manager at that time was just discussing with the Air India people every time we win the match,
right,
how much again you have to pay all those things,
right,
and how badly we were treated at that time.
Right.
So all these, as Mathurji's book says, it's all because of the power or maybe the control and the cash that follows. We get that weightage.
Right.
I think that answers your question.
So Amrit, we did mention about, I'll combine two questions due to the shortage of time. We did mention about the match fixing and the temptation for people to take the wrong path, but that's only one aspect of it. The other side is prioritizing IPL, even to the national duty, and leave alone playing Ranji Trophy. Not too many people, but we have had instances where Sachin Tendulkar would come back from Australia or from New Zealand or from Sharjah, and he would turn up within a few hours for Mumbai saying that if I'm not there, it could be a problem. I need to play for my side. But that seems to have eroded a bit, if I can use that word, number one. Number two, IPL is huge, right? But as you mentioned, quoting your words, from a golden goose, it has a tendency to be this very greedy crocodile trying to eat on the very sanctity of the game.
Well, again, let me take both questions separately. It's a fact that players will prioritize IPL above everything else. It's a matter of money, it's a matter of careers, it's a matter of financial security for the family. So it's understandable. Some years ago, I think Ravi Shastri made a very smart comment that the IPL is the best physio in the country. Every time the IPL comes, every player is fit. Because you don't want to lose that money. 8 crores a year or 10 crores a year can be life-changing for you and your family. So it's perfectly understandable. And the power of the IPL is also understandable because the entire world cricket runs on the money which each country makes from their leagues. I wonder if you noticed recently, South Africa sent a second grade team to play test in New Zealand.
New Zealand, yes.
8 debutants, because the main players were obliged and contracted to play their league.
Right.
So that's how they have prioritized that their league will come ahead of international cricket, it will come ahead of test cricket.
Right.
So times have changed and we have to adjust to these times, that the players will prioritize this because of the money,
right,
because of the glamour, because of the opportunity it gives. So I think whether we like it or not, that is reality.
Right.
And you mentioned about the other thing about IPL being a golden goose.
You mentioned.
But you brought it up as a question.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That is also correct.
Yeah.
The fact is, I think Jayesh will have much more insight into this.
Right.
We have 10 teams at the moment playing IPL.
Right.
Each IPL team is phenomenally successful.
Right.
You know, it is making profits in the range of maybe 300 crores guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
It is the best business in the world, let alone in sports.
Right.
So you have 10 teams which are operating commercially in the cricket space, making large amounts of money, which is fine because that's how it was structured.
Right.
And good luck to them to
Right.
have taken that risk in the beginning
Right.
to get the rewards now.
Right.
But the question is, each year 3,000 crores is getting out of the system.
Right.
Is it coming back into the game?
Right.
Are the IPL teams connected with state associations,
Right.
with grassroots development,
Right.
with promoting cricket as a whole? So those are questions we need to look at.
Right.
So while it is generating a lot of money and it's doing a lot of good for the players, is there a give back
Right.
from teams which are phenomenally commercially
Right.
successful? That's
Right.
the question.
Right. So let's stop. We talk about change. One is one word that has to be dealt with is the pressure. We look at the glamour, we look at the glitterati, but Amrit, in your book, you said they're all larger than life figures, but then once they go vulnerable and they are just in an artificial bubble of celebrityhood. I'll come to you first, Jayesh. Currently, you're handling the players who are big, but how vulnerable they can be. They're like you and me. They're just normal human beings. So, is there an artificial bubble that you feel that they live in?
I think that's a bouncer to a tailender.
But you are an opener.
No, I used to do bat lower end. So, anyway, that's a question because now I also sometimes we feel as an administrator when we look at the players. So just I think we were discussing with Jacob and Mathurji right just before this session. So now more and more the players are interested in shorter formats.
Right.
So just in your earlier question, you have Sachin Tendulkar right from the test match or maybe from the Sharjah straight away goes and play for Mumbai. And I had a word with Roger Binney last time when we met.
Right.
So he used to say he had come from England once and right from the airport he went to the Ranji Trophy because Karnataka was in a bad shape on point system. So straight away he went to at the airport the manager was waiting for him. So straight away he went and played for the Karnataka team.
Right.
So I think nowadays nobody's do that.
Right.
You might have heard Ishan Kishan not playing the Ranji Trophy and he's preparing for the IPL.
Let me interrupt you. And just to reinforce your point,
Right.
there are at least 5 major IPL players in
Right.
different teams who have not played a single Ranji Trophy match this year. We can, I don't want to go into names, but anybody can find out.
Right.
Top 5 IPL players, Indian players, have
Right.
not played a Ranji Trophy game this year.
Right. Right.
So I think the Indian team and the players are in a bubble. They are
Right.
celebrities. We
Right.
made them celebrities.
Absolutely.
We made them demigods. So
irrational adulation, if I can
I
call
think
it that way.
excessive,
Yeah.
certainly excessive when we
Right.
call somebody God. Nobody is a God.
Right.
Nobody is a God. They are great athletes, blessed with gifts, and they give enormous joy and happiness to everybody.
Right.
But I think we all are overboard in our admiration,
Right.
and we have made them bigger than life at times. So as a result, they feel entitled to get away with things which normally
Right.
others won't.
Right.
So that's a challenge administrators face.
Right.
I'm sure he's faced it on many occasions in the board and as manager of the team.
Right.
But that's also a reality of life.
Right. JK,
There are exemptions also. I have seen Rinku Singh. After that 8 balls, he scored 32 runs, and the next week he was in Alapi at that summer, too much a hot, and they were in a dicey situation, 4 down for around 30s or 40s, and he played a knock. He faced around 180 balls to get 93. And there are players, and Shivan Dubey. Mumbai was in bad shape here. Shivan Dubey, he controlled all his shots and he played a lengthy format game. So
the game is a great leveler.
yeah.
So, JK, talking about pressure, do you think the players of your generation perhaps enjoyed the game much more than the players of current generation? There is more money, there is more fame, there is everything. They have it the easy way as compared to probably a common man. But do you think players back then maybe enjoyed the game a lot more?
Well, yes, I would say that we were in love with the game. We played for the passion of the game, not for money. and we were black sheeps in the family to go and play cricket. Those days is very different.
Right.
I think cricketers of the past also have benefited with BCCI.
Yeah.
They have been looked after. We are all pensioners. So BCCI has done wonderful things for the past cricketers also. And well, talking about what I overheard is the hype, which is has to be controlled. The hype is too much. Players are not playing Ranji Trophy. It was mentioned. I think some players don't even want to play tests. Today, the retired players at 35 are earning much more than a test cricketer in a game, playing leagues all over the world.
Right.
So this is how it's going to happen. It's very difficult because they have the talent, they are performers, they are professionals, and they are great cricketers.
Right.
They have been paid very, very highly all around the world playing leagues.
Right.
Some of them want to retire from playing for the nation,
Right.
which I am sure BCCI and the administrators will look at it and see how they can be controlled or looked after so that they must play as long as they can for the country. That's what, I mean, Vishwanath, those days cricketers played for their state and country even at 40, 45.
Right.
Well, also here I would like to mention that we don't have club culture like in South Africa, England, or Australia. Yeah, we had clubs left by the Britishers, but there was no club culture. And not many cricketers go and play for their clubs anymore. There was a story in Bombay, they would, even Gavaskar had to play for CCI when the league match. Right. Now they don't go and play league, forget about the state, they don't even play for the club. Whereas in England, Australia, and New Zealand, they still go and play for the club. Even a test cricketer, even his 50 is going and playing for the club. So that is the difference between us. But I think it's much better. Cricket has gone way far ahead. And as Mathur Saab said, it's in the hands of BCCI and the franchisees who are big brains, run big organizations. They will surely have ways to still monitor the game and take it forward. Well, before I go, I would like to ask Mathur to tell us his journey with BCCI from various presidents, various people he has met in the board. He has seen people with passion, people with love. I would like him to say a few words about how he has enjoyed his journey with those people who have developed cricket from the root level till today, because he's also been in Delhi Daredevils, so I know he can talk about IPL also.
So, you know, JK, you plucked the words out of my mouth, literally, because my next question was that. Going through the book, Amrit, you also feel that various junctures of your life, you are a product of serendipity as well as a bit of serendipitous incidents. And being the secretary of the Railway Sports Board at a relatively young age, Madhurao Scindia played a huge role in your shaping as an administrator, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Actually, I got into sports and cricket administration by an accident. It was not meant to be. I was doing a normal government job.
Right.
I got in touch with Mr. Scindia, who was my minister, and he actually opened the doors for me and got me into the BCCI. So it's like I was a concussion substitute, not meant to play, but got a chance by some luck. And what Mr. Scindia gave me was what is now called the Dubai Golden Visa. So he gave me a visa to Indian cricket.
It's a passport to BCCI.
In a way.
Yeah.
So that was by chance. But as Mahendra Ji said, over the years I've seen the BCCI from...
So let me interrupt you. You can beat your own drums a bit. What do you think, what do you reckon Mr. Scindia saw in you?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he saw some merit in me which I've not been able to see myself.
You're being humble. You're very modest.
But he was a very demanding person.
Right.
He was very progressive as a cricket administrator.
Right.
And he made me first in charge of all railway sport and gave me complete freedom. Complete freedom to make policy, to implement policy. Right. But that aside, when I got into the BCCI in the beginning, there were stalwarts. There was Mr. Chidambaram, there was Mr. Fateh Singh Rai Gaikwad, Mr. Sindhya himself, Mr. P.M. Rungta, Salve Saab, then later Sharad Pawar Saab, Mr. Bindra, Dalmia ji, Mr. Srinivasan. There's actually a galaxy of stalwarts.
Right.
And I remember initially when I was very young and very new,
Right.
when these seniors would walk into the BCCI meeting, we'd
Right.
get up out of respect
Right.
and just listen to them.
Right.
You know, we wouldn't dare interrupt or contribute to the discussion.
Right.
It was an education just to listen to them.
Yeah.
And there was healthy debate, there was debate, discussion, disagreement.
Right.
But I think all those people have actually built the BCCI over the years.
Right.
And lots has changed. He mentioned about the players and the attitude, etc. But I want to make a point here that the players are under much more pressure today than they ever were.
Right.
Because now their careers, their families, everything is at stake.
Right.
And they have to commit everything in their life to cricket.
Right.
You know, if you are playing first class cricket, even Ranji Trophy cricket,
Right.
you are busy 8 to 9 months in a year.
Right.
You got Vijay Hazare, you got Mushtaq Ali, you got Ranji Trophy, you got trial matches, you have camps, you have so much. So you can't do anything else. So
Right.
you have to take a chance with your life.
Right.
Am I going to pursue cricket and devote myself fully to it?
Right.
And if I fail, so what?
Right.
What's going to happen to me?
Right.
So while there are rewards,
Right.
there's also a huge risk when you pursue a cricket career. There's a fact that we started playing Test cricket in 1932. You mentioned how we started. That was 92 years ago, whatever. In all those 90 odd years, only 310 people have played for India.
Yeah.
I think Patidar was number 310. So in a country as big as ours, over 95 years, only 300 people have made it.
Yeah.
So that shows how difficult it is.
Yeah.
So if you play even one game for India, you are extra special.
Right. I'll stay with you, Amit. A quick question, and then I'll bring in JK and Jayesh to add on to that. I come from a broadcasting background. Obviously, the next question is going to be about that.
Yeah.
There was a time when you had to pay Doordarshan, and I work for Doordarshan as well. 5 lakh rupees, if I'm right, those days for showing a match. For
Production
telecast-
cost. Production cost,
yeah. But then it all changed when South Africa came to India, right? In 1991. In your book, it's a great read. That portion was something which I went through again and again, wherein the seemingly unflappable Ali Bakr being a little nervous, and $120,000 is what you had to settle for 3-match series when South Africa, after the apartheid alienation, came back to cricket. Now, when you wrote the book, it was about 100 crores for a day, right? Talk us through that huge transformation.
I think that's been a major transformation, and it's changed the media rights, and the value of media rights has changed cricket. You know, you mentioned the incident when the South Africans were visiting India.
91?
91 for a 3-match series. And they wanted to buy the rights to show those matches in South Africa.
Right.
And Ali Bakr got in touch with us to say that they wanted to buy it and how to go ahead and what price to pay. So that moment came as a shock to us because we in the BCCI didn't realize that we owned the rights. We didn't know. We thought Doordarshan owned it. They showed it on television.
Right.
They made the money.
Right.
And we were happy that the match was being broadcast.
Right.
So firstly, it shows the ignorance that we did not know that this product was ours.
Right.
The second part was, how do you value it?
Absolutely.
Because there was no precedent. Nobody had ever done a deal. Nobody knew.
You went a big back and forth, hitting the ball
so
to the other
I was
court.
told to check with Doordarshan
Right.
what money to ask for. And they didn't know anything.
Right.
Then I contacted Mr. Dalmia, who was much more commercially clued in.
Right.
And the initial figure was $10,000. Mr. Dalmia Saab said, ki isko double kar do, make
Right.
it 20.
Right.
Again, he's guessing.
Right.
So even 20 didn't look all right.
Right.
So in the end, I just told Ali, why don't you mention a figure? Because we had no clue ourselves.
Yeah.
So he tossed a figure of 30,000.
Right. Right.
And at which point I just acted a bit tough and said, no, it doesn't look right.
Okay.
So he upped
But
it.
you are shooting in the dark.
We were all shooting in the dark because we were totally ignorant. So ultimately, it sort of got settled on $40,000 a game.
In hindsight, you feel you could have made more?
Who knows? Maybe we were lucky we made 40 because we had no idea. So it just shows how far the game has grown
Right.
in terms of the media rights value.
Right.
When the IPL started, 2008,
Right.
each game was worth 13 crores on television.
Right.
That was IPL's
13.
13.
Yeah.
In the last cycle, it's 120 crores.
Wow.
So at the moment, the BCCI from the IPL, each game of 3.5 hours
Right.
nets 120 crores.
Right.
So that's how the journey has been in terms of the media rights.
So, JK, I'll have a logical extension of this question. Broadcasting, technology, all these things have come in. And I remember Amrit in this book has mentioned when South Africa toured India, one of those key Indian players asked, "Ye Kepler kaun hai?" And Kepler was the captain of the South African team. As compared to what it is now, you analyze everything of a player, each moment, every knuckle ball he balls, the carom ball he balls, where he hits the shot. If that kind of a technology was available in your time, can you imagine what your records would have been today?
Well, those days we had to go after coaches, we have to play on our own and learn the game.
Right.
Today, young people, a 10-year-old boy can come and tell you how to bat or how to bowl because, it's good because television is showing it.
Right.
And it's much more different now,
Right.
which is very good for the game because the boy knows much more than a coach could tell him sometimes. He has questions for the coach, which is very good. I think that transformation is interesting for the game. Well, Mathur Sahab, I am very happy to see a lady write a few lines on you, which was not happened in the past in cricket. Mithila Raj has said some things which are very good. Also, I would, about your conversations and your times in the dressing room. Some hilarious anecdotes would be very interesting for us to hear.
That's a dessert for us. I mean, we'll save it for the last. And very quickly, I'll bring in Jayesh on this. As an administrator, it's a tricky thing. We've got to be very smart dealing with the media because broadcasting is huge today, isn't it? When you strike a deal with the broadcasters.
Yeah, in fact, I think BCCA had a special team who's handling all those things. I'm not much into it as an administrator because these things are done professionally.
Right.
And anyway, everything we do is on the right track.
He's bailing himself out, I guess.
No. So then one more thing to add, not about the broadcasting thing, what about the second question, what you asked for JK was about the, the coaches and the
analysis.
So I think in JK Bai's playing days, I have not played for state and all, I played for the district level. So, but I used to follow all those things. I think even the Indian team, when it comes, the first India match in 1997, India-Australia, April 8th or April 1st in Cochin.
Right.
The team was 15 plus, I think, 3 support staff or 4 support staff. Now
I have something to say here.
Please.
When I first went to South Africa as manager in 92, we were a total group of 17, 14 players. I was the manager, Ajit Wadekar was the coach, and we had Dr. Ali Irani, he was physio trainer, doctor, assistant manager, whatever. So 17. I think Jayesh went on a tour last year.
Yeah, so
I'm sure there was a support staff of 20.
20, including media, all those things. So that is and now the dressing room is not that good enough to treat this our Indian team. So it's that kind of but generally what it does to the players also. So they have tracked everything.
Right.
So they have a system analyzer, a water call, so many gadgets on the back, front, back. So everything is I think captured.
Right. I think compared to the Indian team, in the IPL it's much worse.
Yeah.
You have a captain who's supposed to be running the team,
the boss,
as cricket is meant to be.
Right.
But you have a coach, you have a mentor, you have a data guy who's actually calling the shots more than anybody else, more than the coach.
Right.
So the captain's role, I think, gets diminished.
Right.
Everybody's breathing down his neck.
So Ajay Jadeja was right in what he said recently, saying that the captain looks helpless.
In fact, that was a discussion Ajay and I having at a different platform last week.
Right.
And I think he's right because the captain is not free to take the decisions which he otherwise was taking.
Right.
too many people
Right.
involved in the process now.
Right. There's so little time, but there's two things that I want to ask. All of you been, in there. So one of the things that you mentioned is, I'm quoting your lines. I saw players taking their shirt off to make a statement, and I've also seen players losing their shirt in a moment of madness. We know the former. You're talking about 2002, Lord's balcony. Saurav Ganguly, not a body to be proud of.
Was it Saurav Ganguly or Salman Khan?
It was Saurav Ganguly. He thought he was Salman for a moment. I mean, we knew it was only Saurav. But what's the latter all about? Losing the shirt in a moment of madness, what does that mean?
Well, at times there can be some friction
Right.
in a dressing room. When
Yes.
you have 20 people, obviously there will be some occasion where there's a disagreement.
Right.
But one moment I remember is that this was the 2002 NatWest tour,
Yes.
where John Wright had an argument with Sehwag.
It's not an argument, it's the one-sided one. He was just held to the fridge and said, "You need to
No,
play
I
that
think he
shot
pushed
again."
him.
Pushed him,
He
yeah.
pushed him and he sort of fell down.
Right.
And it was more out of anger.
Right,
It was not
right.
something else. And the interesting thing is, when we got to know
Right.
that this has happened, and I
Right.
went into the dressing room,
Right.
there was Sehwag very angry,
Right.
sitting in a corner. There
Right.
are some members of the team who were inside the dressing room. And I asked around to just find out what had happened.
Right.
Everybody had seen it.
Right.
Everybody knew.
Right.
But nobody would come out and say exactly what happened.
Right.
This is like you have this road accident where somebody gets hit,
Right.
and when the police comes to ask, they say,
Right.
"Humne nahi pata, hame nahi dekha."
Right. Right. Right.
So everybody sort of passed the buck. But it happened.
Right.
But I think they were adults, there was a discussion, and they sorted things out.
This is only time for a closing comment before we throw open the forum for the questions. But before that, I'll ask you. You have been there. I told you that I envy you for the reason when Sachin walked out against Pakistan. Pakistan almost won the match with that bowling attack they had in 2003 World Cup. That great 98, which probably is better than some of his hundreds, taking Waqar and Wasim on, and Shoaib Akhtar in his peak, at his peak. So that's one thing. But how did you end up in the Pakistan dressing room? You said you actually watched a match sitting inside the Pakistan dressing room. What the hell were you doing there?
Well, I think I've been fortunate, very lucky, that I've watched maybe 100 games from the Indian dressing room.
Right.
Or the IPL dugout.
Right.
So I think I'm privileged, I've been lucky. Very, very lucky. But part of the luck was that, as you mentioned, when Wasim Akram came with the team to India, Javed Miazad was the coach.
1999.
Whatever. And Shahryar Khan was the
Tour manager, yeah.
And he was the earlier foreign secretary, president of Pakistan Cricket Board. So I was appointed by
Just because Pakistan couldn't afford a diplomatic blunder given the
I think
situation.
they also realized an important role. They needed a senior person.
Right.
So the BCCI and the government of India appointed me as a liaison officer with the Pakistani team. So I was in a situation where I was traveling with them in their team bus. I stayed in their team hotel. And it would be strange that we'd come to a ground and I'd walk out of the Pakistani team.
Right.
And we had the Indian team coming out where I knew everybody else.
Right.
So that is a unique experience of being with a visiting team.
Right.
And that also Pakistan.
And culturally pretty similar.
Very, very similar.
Very similar.
But what struck me was that they were a fractured team. The coach and the captain were not on speaking terms with each other.
Even on that tour?
Even on that tour.
Okay.
But despite all that, when it came to cricket, when it came to the ground, they were completely together.
Absolutely.
So the point is that you can have personal differences.
Right.
You need not be thinking on the same lines on everything.
Okay.
But when it comes to a team, when it comes to an activity concerning all 11,
Right.
you are doing the best.
Right. I'll come to you finally for one final time. But JK, your experience with Indian cricket, and now you're a key member of the veteran cricket in India, and we have the IVPL starting in Dehradun on the 23rd, and lucky that I'm also going to be a part of it as a commentator. What has been the most interesting, the most exciting that the audience would want to know, an incident that happened in your life related to Indian cricket?
Well, there's so many incidences.
We only have time for one.
Well, when you said veteran cricket, yes, after I finished my state career with the Ranji Trophy, the only way I could play cricket is become a veteran cricketer.
Right.
And that's how we started veteran cricket, because we wanted to play. Well, today we don't play, but we're enjoying that whole journey of veteran cricket. BVCI is a board of veteran cricket in India, which Chetan Chauhan started.
Right.
And I've been involved since 20 years. I took the team to Pakistan. We played 2 international matches in Kerala
Right.
against Pakistan. And I have some great memories with the Pakistan team in Javid Mahendra and all of these guys. And like he said, mixing with them and knowing that when it comes to cricket, they're very great friends. They're wonderful, hospitable people. When it comes to the game, we have seen only that side of it. So we don't say much about other things. Well, was the other question was?
Yeah, that's what it is. I think the relationship with Pakistan cricketers, that stands right at the top of your list, right? Very
Well,
good.
yes. And of course, playing with Pataudi, Jayashimha, Basili Beg in my days,
Right.
with the royal people.
Right.
They were all kings, and it was fantastic. It was a pleasure to play with them. One incident I'll tell you. The crowd will be.
You really got to hurry up because we don't have the time.
Yeah, Pataudi, I was injured and I was not playing that game. He passed me and he said, "What happened, young man?" I was only 17, playing Ranji. I said, "Sir, I took a wet ball catch. I fractured my finger."
Right.
He slowly mentioned, "Start playing with soft balls."
Okay, so now we know the swag and the style and charisma. You probably would have had Pataudi as a guru
The
there
difference
as well.
now and then was when we played against all these big stars, they would tell us how to play.
Right.
Today it's not in a situation where I can go and tell Kohli
Right, right.
or Kumble, you pull the googly this
Right,
way.
right.
It's not possible.
So, Jayesh, step out of that diplomatic shoes of yours as an administrator. I know that's what you have to do. But tell us something that we don't know about Indian cricket that as administrator that you know.
Tough question. So Indian cricket, as you all know, we have seen the television, right? An inside story, you might have been thinking. But I think, that, as Mathurji said, there have been maybe difference of opinions, maybe all those things in the dressing room. But once they go out, their intention or motive is to win, of course. There is no, everybody you can see helping each other, or maybe they leave all their difference of opinion inside the room and they play as a team. And once you wear that cap, they're very proud of all
Right.
those things.
Yeah. See how smartly he navigated through. Let's end with Amrit. I mean, immense experience. I'm sure every day would have gone by with some experiences. Treat us to something that people don't know, and something maybe about Sachin Tendulkar.
Well, there's lots about him that we all know what makes him a good player.
Right.
His achievements are documented.
Right.
But 2-3 things. A, he's humble.
Right.
He doesn't throw his weight around.
Right.
He keeps a very happy dressing room.
Right.
But there are small things which reveal why he's great.
Right.
If you look at his room, it's like Swachh Bharat, clean.
Right.
He's got the most organized kit bag.
Right.
He never has to be reminded about anything.
Right.
He's always on time,
Right.
always organized.
Right.
And humility.
Right.
And compare the humility off field to the transformation when he walks onto the field.
Right.
There is Rajnikant. He is Bahubali.
Bahubali.
He is in control. He is dominant.
Right.
So there's a totally different Tendulkar off the field and on the field.
Right.
There's one occasion when you mentioned the Centurion innings.
Right. Right.
And we won. And we went to the final and we lost.
Right.
So we are coming back on a flight and everybody's in economy because you wanted to come back. And Tendulkar is sitting in the middle of a crowded flight in economy like a animal in a zoo. Everybody wants a photograph, everybody wants an autograph. Right through that 8-hour flight, he couldn't sleep.
Right.
So when we got off, I mentioned that, listen, you're very patient.
Right.
He said, यहाँ patience का क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Ground पे दिखाना चाहिए था.
Right.
Because he got out in the first over.
Right.
So I think he's a totally different person on the
Right.
field, off the field, but small things make him a great player.